Hey, what is up, YouTube? What is up with y'all, bro? So we have Riley Gaines and Offset Tatum do an interview and discuss why Leah Thomas, the man, cannot participate in women's sports. Let's get straight to the video, man.
Bold, stand in your faith, and of course, a lot of these cultural, social issues that we see. So I could not be more grateful and honored to be on with you. So thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'm excited about your new book. I cannot wait to read it. I'm not sure if it's out yet. We'll get into that, but it's called "Swimming Against the Current," and you're also the host
Good
of your
title.
podcast called "Games for Girls." But I want to talk about your book real quick. "Swimming Against the Current," incredible name. Can you tell us, what inspired you to write the book, and give us a synopsis of what people can expect by reading this new book?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind these past 2 years or so. I never would have imagined I would add author to my resume, but here we are. And actually, just found out it's a national bestseller, which is very exciting
Awesome.
news. But really, what inspired me to write this book? This is something that I wish I had when I had faced what I faced at that national championships back in 2022. I had no resources, I had no support, I had no knowledge about how to talk about this issue, what was going on behind the scenes, and that's what this book is. You can expect to hear a little bit about me, right? A little bit about my background, what it takes to compete and ultimately be successful at the highest level. A more in-depth account of what we face at that national championships in regard to the unfair competition and the locker room and the silencing that we face from our universities and our administrators, how we got here, again, the trajectory of where we're going, and what we as everyday people, as common sense Americans who intuitively know that men and women are different, what we can do to combat this movement.
It's crazy that we even have to say that at this point. Men and women, people are confused. Leah Thomas, it's a man. Leah Thomas is a man. Everybody know that he's a man. Now, breaking news that I saw it yesterday, but I guess that Leah Thomas lost a legal battle in participating in this month's Olympics. And so, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, it seemed like the Olympic committee got it right. I don't know why in the world they're still struggling with this in high school and college.
No, I know it. Actually, the Olympic Committee has it entirely wrong. The Olympic
Oh,
Committee
is that
had
right?
no weight in this decision, but nonetheless, the courts got it right, which is amazing, and is certainly not always the case as we have seen recently. But it's a huge victory for women and girls everywhere. I mean, it's kind of sad that we are basically celebrating a judge ruling. I mean, it's essentially the same as a judge ruling that the sun sets in the west. That's the point
Yeah.
where we're at right now. But nonetheless, it is a victory in a time where it is deemed controversial to defend biological reality, to defend sex-based protections and sex-based rights, to defend women. But nonetheless, it's a win, and we celebrate those wins. Thomas can still compete in the Olympics, although he never will because he will never qualify in his rightful category, and that's the men's category.
100%. Homeboy was
Freaking
trash
beta
when he was a man, and
trash.
that's why a lot of them switch. I mean, because they know when they are competing as a man, they look at the numbers and they say, "Well, I'm getting dusted off running against the men, or swimming against the men, or competing lifting against men." But I can look right over the aisle. I can see what the numbers are for women, and if I somehow became a woman, I'll be number one. It's crazy that they're
Exactly.
always like number one or number two. They make the podium in every event that they end up transitioning to. But do you think, Riley, that people are waking up? Is this obviously you guys have been doing an incredible job, especially you and others. I swam. Well, I play sports at the University of Arizona, where we had some incredible swimmers, and I know that they're fighting the same fight that you're fighting. But do you think people are finally waking up, or do we have a long way to go?
100%. People are waking up. It's people who maybe would have considered themselves apolitical before, people who didn't really like Trump because of the mean tweets, or people who, never saw this as an issue that would affect them. Those are the people who are now understanding what's at stake. They understand the direction that our country is going. They see the threat that is being imposed by the Biden administration, and of course, trickling all the way down. And so, yes, I'm more hopeful now than I've been these past 2 years. Trump is up in the polls by double digits. We have over 20 states suing the Biden administration and the Department of Education for their illegal administrative rewrite of Title IX. This new court ruling, we had a big win in Texas. Attorney General Ken Paxton ultimately was able to get a federal judge to halt the Biden administration's new proposed Title IX and the effects of that, which are set to take place in August. None of this would have happened 2 years ago. So that tells me that now we are going in the positive forward direction. It's sad that it takes unfortunate circumstances. It takes girls losing out on opportunities. It has had to take girls being exploited in locker rooms, or being even injured in their sports before people understand the harm that's being done. But now I truly think they do, and I believe that the pendulum is restoring itself.
Riley, what do you think? There's two things I want to talk to you about. I'm gonna start with this one, and we're gonna get to Caitlin Clark in a second. So, but one thing is, what do you think the parents, what's their position in this? Because a lot of these young people in college, I mean, or in high school, some of these younger people, they're getting pressured and coerced into doing things that they may not agree with. What's the parents' role in this, man? Why aren't parents standing up and saying, "Look, enough is enough. We're going to take action"?
Yeah, there's a lot of fingers to point here. Ultimately, how we got here, right? We could point a finger at the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. We could point a finger at the NCAA or again the Biden administration. But I think there's a finger to be pointed back at the parents. We have seen a failure on the account of parents who are willing to defend their kids, defend their daughters at that. I talk to parents all the time who reach out to me and they say, thank you for doing what you're doing. I can't say anything. My daughter's dealing with this, but I'll lose my job. So thank you for fighting for her. And it breaks my heart that you have parents who, this isn't a hill that they're
Scared
willing
to
to
lose
die
a
on. If
job.
this isn't, then what in the world is the hill that you're willing to die on?
Scared
Do
to
I have
lose
to
a
paralyze?
$50,000 a year job. Like, come on, bro. Y'all got to think of the bigger picture, man. So you telling me if you get fired from the job that is paying 50,000, you can't find some other job that's going to pay you 50,000 or more? Scarcity mindset, man. God is the God of abundance. So if something is going against what you believe in, leave or try to get that thing changed. If you can't get that get it changed, you have to start your own thing. That's how it works.
About your kids more than you do. What a tragic reality that is. But nonetheless, it's what we're seeing. And so, what we need to see from parents: defend your kids, defend your daughters, teach your sons how to be strong men at that. Stand up for them. It's so sad that the burden has to be bared by young girls. You look at what happened in West Virginia. Those 5, 13, 14-year-old girls, middle schoolers, who were forced to compete against a boy who ultimately these girls made the decision that they weren't going to. And it broke my heart. They
Right,
messaged me and they said, Riley, do we have to fight for second place? Are we not worthy of calling ourselves
right,
champions? How sad that 13, 14-year-old girls have to think that.
right.
We need to see parents who are willing to stand up, and we need to see coaches who are willing to stand up.
100%. Riley, I want to have you back for one more segment. We have to talk about Caitlin Clark. Y'all hold the phone. Riley Gaines after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. I have the incredible, I'm telling you, Riley Gaines is going to go down in history as one of the great women who started, I would say, even if she didn't start, because I know a lot of women probably have been fighting, but she has pioneered this movement to stand up for young women. She's been bold in the face of so much adversity. Help me welcome back Riley Gaines. Her new book is out, Swimming Against the Current, and y'all got to make sure y'all check out her podcast, Gaines for Girls. It's available right now. And follow her on social media. You can follow her on X at Riley_Gaines_. So, Riley, I want to talk to you about Caitlin Clark because there's a lot of controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark. People love her or hate her. They think that the WNBA is hating on her. Some people think the WNBA is doing her just right. She didn't make the Olympic team. I have my opinions about it. I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts on Caitlin Clark and the whole WNBA stuff?
Look, Caitlin Clark has not just propagated women's collegiate basketball, now the WNBA forward. She's propagated women's sports forward. It is so I'm so perplexed. I think perplexed is a good word. Like, I am just utterly confused. I have never seen an organization self implode in the same way that the WNBA is doing right now. They have screeched for years about viewership and more money and different things and equality versus the NBA. And now, of course, they're not there yet in terms of resources and finances and obviously and
Yes,
understandable. So
it came out that they're about to lose another $50 million a year, even with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. What they need to do is just lower the rim, so these girls can actually make shots, do crazy layups. Because if the rim is 10 feet, you have to jump really high to do like no crazy layups and stuff like that to entertain the crowd to even dunk. So you to reduce it to 8 feet. A lot of women will be able to dunk because a lot of women don't have like 40-inch verticals, 41 or 42-inch verticals. Like that's non-existent. Maybe 38 at max. Okay.
so, but they're with Caitlin Clark, they're on the right path. And they're it's mind blowing. I don't even know really good words to say. You have Jamel Hill or Sunny Hostin, for example, who said that Caitlin Clark has tall privilege, but which doesn't even really make sense. Pretty
She's
privilege,
6'1" or
white
something
privilege,
maybe.
and straight privilege. How about the fact she's just setting records and an amazing player? How about that? Jamel Hill, who says that Caitlin Clark is problematic to women's basketball. Really? Problematic because I think she's the problem solver to all of the problems that they claim the WNBA has. And so I, of course, believe she should have been on the U.S. Women's Olympic basketball
Of
team.
course,
But I've been
obviously.
really encouraged by Caitlin Clark's response. She's the definition of class, is what
Right.
she is. She's humble, she's articulate, she's smart. And when she was approached about it, how do you feel about this? She said, look, I'm going to use it to motivate me. That's what this is. I'm coming back in 2028. And that to me, you could let the attacks and the jealousy get to you. But I was really encouraged to see that response from her.
I'll tell you what, likewise, I'm very impressed by her. I never in my life thought about looking at a WNBA basketball game until Caitlin Clark came on the scene. And it wasn't just because of the controversy between her and Angel Reese. It was the fact that I was very enamored by how great she was playing basketball, right? I mean, she's setting records. She's coming out with all these accolades. And I was excited to see what is she going to do at the next level. I mean, the girl is hitting 3 points way back where the men hit the three-pointer at. I mean, she had half court hitting threes. She's like Stephen Curry. I mean, and like you said, she's very humble, articulate. And she reminded me a lot of you in the fact that when you put a camera in front of Caitlin Clark, when they put a camera in front of you, very articulate, very humble, very well spoken, good sportsman. This is what makes great players and great leaders. Not some ghetto person out
Athletes.
there mad and throwing shade on everybody, but somebody who's humble. I got 2 minutes left. Riley, how can we get your book, and how do we continue to support you in your endeavors to help women in women's sports?
Of course. Well, you can get my book.
To me, you could literally see the huge difference between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. One is ghetto and one has class. It's really that simple. Listen to the way she addresses the reporters when they ask her questions. No, I don't want to answer that. I don't feel like answering that. It is what it is. Like Caitlin Clark, when it comes to answering, hey, it's part of the game. I don't know what it is that these people want from me. I'm trying my best. They don't want me on the Olympics team. I guess we're gonna have to wait 2028, prove them wrong. I'm gonna keep working, keep winning games, and hopefully win the championship in the WNBA. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.